Okay, hello everybody. Should take a second. Meditate. We are back. We are back. USA Late Night Live show with the Toffee Blues. I am your host, Forrest, at USA EFC on X or Twitter, depending on your persuasion. Here with me today, once again, is
Got Jacob over here. Richie Jacob 625 on the Twitter X.
Richie Jacob 625. If you don't refer to him as that, then you are out of here. We are
Ooh.
back with another show, guys. I mean, we I just thought we were going to have so much so much more positive stuff to talk about today, and unfortunately, we are all sitting here feeling very despondent. So, just to quick rundown of what we're going to talk about today. We already know we're going to talk about the Derby defeat. We're going to talk about the defeat to Wolves last night in the EFL Cup. We're going to touch on the. Oh, we'll just mention it. We'll mention it now that Everton and Leeds settled a PSR case between each other outside of court. Just saw that on ESPN as I was starting the stream. So it seems like that's one relegated club out of the way. Now we just have big old Burnley to deal with, and then we're going to talk a little bit about West Ham next week. It's quite a few days away. It's not on the weekend. It's on the Monday. So I guess we will just jump right into the Derby. So if you don't remember what happened at the Derby, because we were all drowning ourselves in sorrow after yesterday, we lost 2-1. A really difficult first half display led to a really spirited second half display that gave us a lot of hope. Um, Only scored the one goal and never really. I wouldn't say we were ever really created a second chance or a couple other chances that seemed like they could end in a goal in that second half. I'd have to watch the game back in all honesty. But Jacob, what were your thoughts on the derby?
Well, I mean, you know, I gave a pretty, non-confident 2-2 prediction last week, and then the first half happens, and I'm extremely disappointed. It just kind of felt like Everton of unsuccessful old in that first half. It felt like we kind of went away from what's made us really successful, that really aggressive counterattack, that really aggressive being able to play it through the lines really well, getting out on the wings, creating chances. I just don't think we did that particularly well in the first half, and they hit us the first time. And then
Mm.
I think after they hit us the first time, the second goal kind of felt inevitable in the first half, which was disappointing in a sense. And it's like you said, second half was better. We scored a good goal and we played. I think we were the better team in the second half, but it's,
100%.
all the more frustrating that the first half, I think we were kind of set up to take a beating and try to withstand that, and just didn't, chips didn't fall where we wanted.
Yeah, I don't really understand what David Moyes is looking for in the first half from that team. It seemed like, and he kind of came out and said, "Well, that was not the way I wanted them to play." And it's like, David, I mean, that doesn't
Right.
really make a lot of sense to me. So,
No.
something in your tactical dossier to these players led to what happened, which was
Hmm.
aimless balls forward to Beto that he couldn't get on hold on to
Hmm.
because the guy's fighting two center backs for a ball and has a really I don't remember him having too much support around him even when those balls went forward. It just seemed like we were just throwing the ball away to throw the ball away or trying to make it a halftime 0-0. This is never going to happen against this iteration of a Liverpool team that have really dynamic, good strikers, attackers, and to an extent attacking midfielders. If I look back at that first half, one of the things that I noticed the most is how big of a hole was in the middle of our
Hmm.
midfield and that
Hmm.
gap between our defense and midfield.
Hmm.
It seemed like constantly McAllister or Sabazlai were just sitting in that middle, receiving the ball in between the lines, and then being able to turn and then look next.
Right.
Um, it was tough. And we can talk about referees. It wasn't great, but when do you ever have a great referee in the derby? In all honesty, it's just especially at Anfield. It's not an excuse I really like to make. Like we'll talk about the yellow card for Kieran Dewsbury Hall for the quick free kick. We'll talk about the only 3 minutes added time at the end, but it's not a game that I would say we lost because of the referee. It's a game we lost because we did not come out with an astute game plan to take the game to Liverpool from the off. It just we didn't need to play the way we did because we conceded playing the way we did. We played with fear. We played scared, and that was very obvious.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy because you look back at, a couple of the last iterations of this game, and we've come out, aggressively. We've come out like we believe that we are going to get a result, and there's been a couple of early goals and some recent derbies, and I was just really super surprised to see us so passive,
Super.
and I thought the midfield would be a strength, especially with James Garner back in there with Idrissa Gueye and Dewsbury Hall, and because I think honestly that might be our best three in the middle, and then I don't know what happened. I mean, we got run over. I mean,
I think that while it's still very early in the season, there is starting to become room to say that maybe Idrissa Gueye has gone down a level. Um, I don't want to lay everything at his feet because he's still a workhorse. He's still starting every game for us, pretty much. But I think I'm just starting. I mean, Liverpool's not a great test for that because they are the best team in the league, one of the best teams in the world. So there's very few teams that are going to look like, or very few players are going to look like they're matching them in any games this season. But it just felt like he was chasing shadows. I mean, they move, they're very fluid, they move a lot. It was tough. And again, it comes back to that word you use, passive. We were just very passive. Like even like throwing in a tackle and like I know we're playing at Anfield, so the crowd is going to turn on us. But you get them angry, you get our supporters up, and you get the noise going in there. You turn it up a little bit.
mhm.
It just felt like we came there to like try to take the sting out of the game and make it dull in that
Yeah,
first half. And that's great. That's awesome. But when it isn't followed up with a game plan of attack or a game plan to at least get the ball out of our half, which is we just couldn't do it until the last 5-10 minutes when Liverpool kind of
mhm.
lost a bit of interest. Um, it just doesn't like it just makes us look silly. It makes us look like we're just waiting to concede and we're just or it's inevitable that we're going to concede.
Yeah, and I think just like, a little more tactically, I think when I watched it and I watched some highlights back of, some bigger moments in the game. And I think what really sticks out, I think this midfield three in particular, I think works a lot better when we can have more of the ball, when we can express ourselves a little more. Dewsbury Hall, James Garner especially. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the perception of Idrissa Gueye, especially in a game like this, when it feels like he's chasing shadows and it feels like he's a step behind, because I mean, he's kind of the only guy in that midfield that plays that sort of destroyer, I'm going to break up the
Breaking up
play
play,
role.
exactly. Yep.
And yeah, this is a shout, but I was watching that game and it's the first time I said, man, we really miss a guy like Decore in there right now who's not afraid to crunch somebody
Yeah.
to bring some physicality because we couldn't get a hold of the ball, and so we couldn't link up play to the front, and so it's like you said, it was a lot of playing from Pickford to Beto, and Beto, God bless his heart, just had nothing the whole game.
No, he didn't. No, he never had a chance. I really can't think of any moment where he had a chance. I will say that Kieran Dewsbury Hall 100% should have scored the first half.
Yep.
We had a good move. He's free in the box, 10 yards at most out, and he just puts it to the wide, near post wide. Like that's something. It's got to be something on target. And I think he even came out and said I should have done a lot better with that. That was a moment. That was a moment towards the end of the first half too. That if we get that before halftime, that's a totally different game. That's a huge boost coming in because they're going to be nervous. They came out the second half awful. I mean, the first until we scored, Liverpool were nervous. They couldn't
Yep.
pass. They could not string anything together. We were hit. We had them boxed in, and we
Yep.
scored. And it's almost like they kind of like, okay, we need to wake up here. We're gonna concede another 2-goal lead. And so
Right.
they woke up. They disciplined themselves and they closed the game out in a professional manner. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's hard to look back at that and pull a lot from it. There's, you said this to me afterwards, moral victory FC, right? We played really well in that second half for all that it matters. We scored a goal at Anfield and only lost by a goal. So it makes it look like we didn't take a hiding there. And for a lot of people, it probably felt like we were going to get our asses kicked after that second goal went in because you're like, oh, man,
Yeah.
heads are
Here we
going to
go.
drop. It's about to be 4-0 at halftime. We're going to be embarrassed as hell.
Hmm.
Thankfully, that didn't happen. I think having leaders like Jack Grealish and to a lesser extent, the Kieran Dewsbury Hall, um, who've been there in these big games and big games where the expectation is that they're there to win it,
Right.
rather than, oh, we're just here to try not to get our asses kicked. So they said, no, we can turn this around, and we almost do. It's just, man, that's and honestly, like, everything about that Derby defeat has been totally just overruled by what happened yesterday. It's like I can't even think about anything else except yesterday right now. I mean, do you have any final comments on the Derby, man? Like, anything you want to say? Because I just want to move on from it right now.
Yeah, just one quick note. The Dewsbury Hall kind of spurred chance first half where I know for me, I feel like this happens every time we play at Anfield. We get a moment where we should score and I jump off of my couch and go, oh my God. And then
100%.
the next day I'm like, oh, what if he had scored? I feel like we just do
It
this
sits with you
every year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah. Well, okay, let's just talk about the calamity last night. I just like
Unfortunately.
So we lose to Wolves in the FL Cup, 2-0. A game. Every single one of us were like, oh, this, we've got to win this. We need to. We should be winning this. 100% should. We just beat them, a week or two ago. We have a game plan to beat them. We have a blueprint to beat them. We should be beating them. And I mentioned this to Jacob when we were talking before the stream, but the second I saw that lineup, man, it was just like he's tried to be too cute here. He's tried to put too much faith in too many players who don't have the match fitness, and it really showed.
It did. It really showed, I think, at every single level of what we wanted to do in any sort of game plan that we came in there with. I mean, from the backfield with Seamus Coleman, from the back line with Seamus Coleman at left back to Timmy Bunham in the midfield to, I mean, honestly, McNeil, Barry, and Dibbling up top. It felt like there was, like you said, there's a lack of match fitness. It felt like there was a lack of urgency. It felt like there was a lack of cohesion.
Of
and
motivation, like
of motive. I mean, it just stunk of what we see almost every single year in these early Carabao Cup games, EFL Cup, whatever you want to call it. It just reeks of we don't care. We don't want to win. We don't care if we win. And it's so disappointing with the we want to win a trophy talk to go out there and put that lineup out and put that performance out. And it's just so familiar.
Yeah, it's when you think about it, you understand the rotation. You're trying to give these players minutes. You're trying to give them the chance to prove themselves, because that's what you do. They are there. The club pay them a lot of money. So you sit there and say, this is your opportunity to impress me. You can like I don't know what David Moyes is saying to these players. I'm not privy to what they say in the dressing room. But I can imagine he's like, this is your chance. Dwight, you haven't played a lot this season, really at all. Like, this is your opportunity. Like, make me reconsider that. Didn't take it. Apathetic. Didn't care. Walking around, touches were awful. Didn't look like he knew what the hell he wanted to do out there, or that he even cared to figure out what he wanted to do out there. Charlie Alcaraz, he tries hard, man. It sucks that he tries so hard and can't get that reward, because he gets himself in good spaces, and he turns and he's like, oh, what the hell should I do now? And then he just kind of carries it until it's too late for him to make a decision. And then the moment's gone.
Right.
Tyler Dibbling, look, like, the guy's a kid. He's young. He's got a decent amount of experience, but he's young, and you can't. I'm not gonna he had moments where he looked okay. He never really created anything. He tried to take the ball down the byline and put things in with his right foot when he's strong with his left. I'd like to see him use that strong foot and cut in and trust himself to do that, because he knows he can do it. He should know he can do that. He doesn't need to use his weak foot to get around defenders. He just cut in, and take a shot, make a pass, do what Jack Harrison does and cut in, put it across with your left foot or something. It doesn't matter. But, and then Barry, man, like, him getting taken off at halftime was because he had that yellow card, because he was very petulant in that moment and kicked the ball away and got that yellow card. He was obviously, I think he is very frustrated with kind of the way the season has panned out for him so far. He hasn't scored yet. He hasn't really even had an opportunity to score. Maybe you say the one he had against Villa is probably the only chance that was like, he could get a shot on target. Everything else has just been baseless headers, just no chance to take a shot on goal. He's just not had that chance.
Yeah.
And I know that frustration is getting to him a little bit right now. And then Tim Eric-Boonham was what I noticed with Tim is he really likes to dribble. He's a pretty strong dribbler. He's powerful typically on the ball. The guy can't pass though. He cannot pick out the right pass. He lost the ball probably 4 or 5 times last night. And in his position in midfield, where he's kind of typically playing a little bit farther back, sometimes he'll drive forward, but he's playing in a fairly defensive midfield position. When he loses the ball, it's when counterattacks happen.
Yeah, and I thought this was pretty apt. One of our own over here at the Toffee Blues during the game, we were discussing Tim Eric-Boonham, and one of them said he suffers from Benny Beningame syndrome, where he comes into the team, he's because needs must to a point, and he plays slightly better than expected, and so he stays in the team when he probably should be playing championship football somewhere else right now. And so then the bad performances come, and you say, "Oh, man, this guy's not very good." But honestly, I don't even think he starts today if Merlin Roll's fit. So that's a whole nother conversation. But and with all the things that were bad, I think he was pretty bad. But even singling him out and saying that was bad feels almost unfair with the 11-man performance. And
it was very uninspiring. It was very flat. It was very flaccid. It was just not fun to watch. From the opening minute, it was not fun to watch. There was and I really can't get over the fact that we don't play again until Monday. Just start one of Grealish and Dye or Dewsbury Hall. Honestly, just start Grealish. Just start Grealish. Don't even put Dwight McNeil on the left. Put in your best player, Dwight and Jack Grealish. Put him out there. Make Wolves fear you. Give him the ball. And from the off, now Wolves are like, oh, we've got to double up on this guy. So now you get more possession. Now because you got the guy you can get the ball to who can hold on to it. Because the first 10 minutes, we barely touched the ball. And really the whole first half, we barely touched it. Really the whole game, we barely did anything with the ball. We just didn't create or do enough or create anything. And once Wolves got that first goal, man, they just said, we don't have to do anything else now except defend this lead and just pack the box because we're not going to send runners in. We didn't have the players on it at the time. And even in the second half when Dye, Dewsbury Hall, Grealish, Beto all come on, it's too little too late. We've already conceded. Heads are already down, and Wolves are already set in their minds that they're going to keep this clean sheet and win.
Yeah.
Just from the off, just give your team the best chance to win.
Yeah, and I thought when speaking to the subs, I thought when the changes happened, we obviously got better. Our best attacking players come on the pitch. But to be perfectly honest with you, when we made the changes, when Grealish and Njai and all the fellas came on, it honestly still to me felt like we didn't have much of a plan. I think it kind of highlighted something that we haven't super talked about so far this year because it's worked. But it felt to me like the game plan was, let's kick the ball to Jack Grealish and let's let him dance around on the touchline and let's see what will happen once he does that. And outside of that, it didn't really feel like we had any sort of tactical plan. And Jai was okay. Beto came on, and I don't think he was any. I think Tanner Barney was pretty bad. I don't think Beto really impacted the game very much at all.
Maybe he had one moment of hold-up play that was okay, but other than that, there wasn't much.
And we were talking about it earlier. I wholeheartedly disagree with taking Charlie Alcaraz off at the start of the second half, leaving Dwight McNeil on for 15 more minutes to just kind of have his head down, mope around on the wing. It just killed us.
It just didn't make. It did not make sense. I don't know how you could watch Dwight McNeil in that first half and not think this guy's not at it today. We need to take him off. He's not there. That is a stubbornness from a manager that I just don't understand. Mm-hmm. And we don't get answers for that, and we have to sit here and speculate on our own,
Yeah.
and that probably makes it worse because us as fans speculating typically means that we're going to go to the worst case scenario, that David Moyes is just not seeing it, or is too prideful or too stubborn to make a change and admit that he was wrong about something, even if he doesn't verbally admit it, but by his action of making the change, admitting that he was wrong about who he picked. I don't know, man. And I think what really hurts us all the most about this is just all this talk. Why even get us excited with all this talk about we want to win a trophy? Our sights are set on winning a trophy from James Tarkowski and from the big man David Moyes himself coming out and saying, I want to win a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God damn, man, if you want to win a trophy, show us by putting out the best players. I understand rotation is key. I understand we just played Liverpool a few days ago, and that was a big outlay of energy for these players. But just give Jack Grealish 60 minutes. Let's get a couple goals, be comfortable, and then you bring on Dwight McNeil. And even if he's despondent, then like you get a clear idea. Okay, he's really not up for it, man. He doesn't even want to come on when we're winning and do anything. He's apathetic. Get him out of here in January. It was just really, really disappointing because we all expected so much more. I know, like, we haven't had a great start to the season in a long time, so we're all kind of wearing these blue tinted glasses a little bit, right? We're all like, oh, we're looking good. Like, we've got Jack Grealish, we've got Iliman and Dye, we've got this dynamic attack now. We've scored 1 goal in 3 games. It's at the end of the day, we're dynamic, we're on the ball a bit more, but there's still work to be done. And what I will say is that we just cannot get ahead of ourselves as fans. I say it all the time as with Everton fans because we just tend to do it. We live these highs so highly that we think that we can maintain them forever. Mm-hmm. When it needs to be, it needs to be this mentality. That was a really good moment. Let's be consistent. Let's get consistent with those moments, and that consistency isn't there, and it's not going to just happen. I mean, this season we still might finish like 13th, 14th, and it might feel like the end. It might feel like awful. It might feel awful. We might finish 8th and might feel like, holy shit, like we're onto something here. Mm-hmm. And this gentleman here, Cal, is saying it right. Like we are an injury to Jack Grealish away from like, oh God, we have Dwight McNeil starting again. To be fair, I will say this. I think as this season goes on that we will see Tyler Dibling rotated in more, and I think Kieran Dewsbury-Hall will be rotated out a little bit, and I think and Jai should be moved central because I love Iliman and Jai. I know he's had some decent performances on the right. I still think he's wasted on the right because he's not a left-footed player. He's going to want to get on his right foot, so he's not going to bring it inside on his left foot. He's going to try to take guys around and take it to the end line, and that's just not. It's not his game. He's not a sprinter. He's not a sprinter. He's acceleration over short distances, and that's all well and good. But he's getting doubled up. He's not able to get the space he needs to get across it because he's not really looking for like this big whipped in or floated cross. He's trying to play something low. He's trying to play a through ball. He needs to be in a position where he can affect play more, and that right side just isn't quite it. It's just for me, it's not there. It's somebody. It's a player playing in the wrong position.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and for as good as we've looked in moments this season, you look at our best team on paper, and for me, I see some pretty glaring and damning limitations. I mean, if you want to speak purely going forward in attack, right? We have a center back at right back, right? We have Jake O'Brien. I mean, a good and a bit of a curse, honestly. He sits in at right back when you need him the most, and he plays pretty well, and so now the club don't buy a right back for going on 40 years, right? And so we have a hard lack of attacking prowess at that position, which I think would help in Dye on the right.
Well, yeah, and just to interrupt, Cal said the same thing here, that our fullbacks don't overlap. We don't have attacking fullbacks. We don't.
No, and I mean, yeah, Mikalenko, I mean, I think he gets a bad rap, honestly. I think he's a pretty good defender, but I mean, same story as Jake O'Brien. He can't get forward. He can't put it across. Hold for applause for the Goodison Derby cross into the box. Thank you, Vitaly Mikalenko. But I mean, the fullbacks can't get forward. The striker position is what it will be. I think everybody hopes that Tierno Barry gets better as the season goes on and we get some sort of consistency in that position. Beto maybe finds a couple purple patches throughout the season like he did last year. And then it's like you said, Tyler Dibling comes into the team, he plays well. Maybe we get some sort of production from Dwight McNeil like we have in the past. But I think for as high as we've gotten early in the season, I think it's important to look at what we have currently and say, this is a good foundation. It's better than we've had in a while as far as depth goes, as far as quality goes, as far as talent goes. But, I mean, we don't have a consistent goal scorer up top. We don't have attacking fullbacks. The midfield can be a little bit suspect at times. And, I mean, we have people playing out of position everywhere who are, making the most of a weird situation. But, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's again, like, it's getting ahead of ourselves with how this start to the season has been. It's just really, really, you don't want to like have these hopes that Everton can be so much more than they are, because it is true. Our squad is better, but it's still really thin. We're still a couple of injuries away from real crises across the pitch. And really, you can even argue that we kind of in crisis right now playing Seamus Coleman at left back. It's that's like a crisis situation decision. Like, we don't have anything better. We signed this Adam Asnew, and he can't even get a game in the League Cup. Like, I don't know, man. It's just.
And look, I think to Adam Asnew, I'm sorry to interject. It's so hard to not feel frustrated with that signing. And it's so unfair to Adam Asnew, first off, because you bring in this kid who has already very early on in his career been really successful at a really solid club, right? And you sign him for, I mean, not a ton of money. What was it? It was under 10 million, I think.
8 or 9 million, yeah.
Right. And you bring him in, but because of the position that the squad is in, when he doesn't play right away, everybody says, well, he must not be very good. And I think that Everton bring that upon themselves when our right back options are Jake O'Brien, Nathan Patterson, and Seamus Coleman. And then you have Vitaly Mikolenko at left back and Adam Asnew, and a guy that shouldn't have to play big minutes and should probably be playing in the EFL Cup, sure. But, I mean, the expectation feels a little bizarre to me when we could have signed a fullback for I always go back to Newcastle signing Kieran Trippier several years ago for nothing.
Yeah.
It just feels like a shortcoming, personally.
It feels like we put all our eggs in the Kenny Tete basket earlier in the window.
Yep.
And when it didn't work out for us, we said, well, we don't really have an alternative. So we'll probably just, maybe something comes up. We'll look at some guys like James Justin. Thank God we didn't sign him. Or Kyle Walker-Peters or whoever. And if it's not financially viable, then we'll just stick with what we got. Oh, this is good. When we start fuzzing out, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
It's great. Yeah.
I'm just to stay like this. You know what? You guys can look at me like that. I don't even want to be perceived. Again, I'm trying not to get too down about this situation, because it is still fresh. It sucks in the moment. Mm-hmm. We could very much come out and beat West Ham, and we all feel good about ourselves again. So, and they're kind of like, Graham Potter's like on his way out. They want.
In fact, the West Ham board have said they don't think they're going to beat Everton. Graham Potter is the sacrificial lamb on the altar of the West Ham front office.
I mean, honestly, if we don't beat them at this point, that's like we don't need to be Everton. We don't need to be this mythical Everton that we've been for so long, mm-hmm. right? Yeah. Like we've had a season so far besides last night that has been pretty devoid of that. Yep. Things have kind of gone our way. We've rode our luck a little bit, but it's been pretty devoid of Everton. That last night was kind of the first Everton that moment, right? Like even Wolves, like that guy who scored Wolves' second goal. His first ever appearance, probably his only goal for Wolves ever. But we can't get too down about this. We have to be able to prove there's a long season. We'll be in the FA Cup come January, even though that's a billion years away, and we're going to watch all these, we're going to watch all these other teams, I'm sure one or two surprise teams are going to make it to the quarterfinals, the semifinals of the EFL Cup, and we're going to be like, oh, that could have been us. I mean, look,
Yeah.
if we had beat Wolves, we'd have Chelsea at home. That would have been cool. Like, we could, who knows what could have happened, but at the end of the day, we still would have had a tough fixture. So
Right.
We have to keep the perspective of this season that this club is still in a period of transition, and that it was never going to be fixed in one window. It's not going to be fixed in 2 windows come January, and it probably won't even be fixed in 3 windows come next summer. So we have to understand that this is just a project. This is a big project for a club that's been struggling for quite a while, and we just have to we have to ride out these lows and move on, and just move on. We just got to move on. We just all got to move on now. Just get out the frustrations now. Don't sit there and pile on players like Tyler Dibbling and maybe to a lesser extent like a Carlos Alcaraz or Tierno Barry. Don't pile on to them so hard. Give them the chance to grow. They're new to the club. We don't need to run them out. Right. Just focus all that on Dwight McNeil and run him out. That's fine.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this season is going to be a lot of.
Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, look, if we put 3 past West Ham on Monday. Oh, you're back. Sweet. We put 3 past West Ham on Monday and we win, I think everybody's back on because it's like
exactly, yes.
Right? Being a supporter is so funny sometimes because our fan base, which I think might be one of the best in Europe, if not, I'm a little biased, of course.
It's right up there. No, it's right
but
up there.
man, we get high and we get low, down and dirty. Stay off. Listen, you got to stay off the internet when something bad happens. After that Wolves game, you got to go take a walk.
Man, big time.
You got to go take a walk. Got to go outside.
Do not, because you're going to be in that echo chamber of negativity, and it's just going to be like, oh, crushing. It's soul crushing. Oh, I know exactly what you mean, man. I learned that pretty early.
Hold it in. Yeah, you got to learn it quick. Don't get sucked into the echo chamber.
Man, all right. Well, that's enough about Wolves. It sucks. It really sucks. It hurts because we were almost teased with all this talk of winning a trophy this year, and it felt like it was real.
Right. But
we just got to move on. So we have a game against West Ham on Monday. So West Ham, man. It's always such a weird. I hate saying it. Weird name. West Ham, man. Like, what? I know it's like Hamwich, like West Hamwich or whatever. But it's still like. Anyways, we have West Ham on Monday. It's at home, right? It's a home game. Yeah.
It is at home.
Yeah. So they are probably going to be the first team to score at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Whatever. I don't care. No, I hope not. Regardless, West Ham are 19th. They won 1 game this season. They got blew out by Chelsea. They got blew out by Tottenham. They smacked Nottingham Forest around, which was interesting and probably led to the true downfall of Nuno Espirito Santo there. Lost to Wolves in the League Cup and got smacked by Sunderland. So West Ham are a team that are sort of vulnerable.
Yeah.
What? Let me start with this. Who starts up top for us?
Beto.
You think it's Beto?
I think it has to be Beto.
I agree. I don't think it has to be, but I think it's going to be because I think what Tierno Barry did in the first half is something that David Moyes does not like to see from his players.
Correct. Yes.
I think that is the one thing that he will not stand for. It's why he was dragged. And Barry's probably lucky he didn't get dragged off before halftime, in all honesty. It's good that he didn't embarrass him like that, but he definitely was like, he probably told him, look, you're coming off. That was ridiculous.
I agree.
Do not act like that. Don't let your frustration show. And so he will probably not start for the next 2 months.
I agree. I think he's worked his way out of the team for a while. Yeah. You just can't have it. You know what I mean? You just can't have it. And it's just like you just said, I sincerely thought we were going to get a Moise Keane. I don't know if you remember, we subbed him right back off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was against United, wasn't it?
It was. I think it was when Duncan Ferguson was interim.
Yes,
perhaps.
That's right.
Yeah. He's 22. He's a younger guy, and you get frustrated in the moment, and you do something really stupid, and you get a card. But for me, mostly, I think Beto just needs a run of games. I think we need to put him up top, We gave him the number 9. Give him 5 or 6 games. That'll be, a month and a half. See what happens, and then reassess. It doesn't have to be in and out every other game, and I think that hurts their confidence more than anything, really. So
you say Beto up top. I'm sure it'll be Grealish, Dewsbury Hall, and Tygan, barring any injuries. Probably look at Gay and Garner in midfield. Mikalenko, O'Brien, Tarkovsky, Keane, Pickford. Right, that rest of that team pretty much picks itself.
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to be really interesting because West Ham, if you look on paper, their team's not awful, man. They've got
it's not at all.
Jared Bowen and Fulkrug will probably start. They've got Callum Winston, Somerville, Luis Guilherme. Thomas Suchek will probably start. Matias Fernandez. Their left back that they have, that Diouf.
It's very solid.
I told one of my friends this, but depending on how this season goes for us and for them, we should 100% look to sign him next year. That guy is
agreed.
He'll probably have offers from like Chelsea. He'll probably get sold to Chelsea for like 40 million, whatever, because that's just what happens. They buy everybody.
Yep.
But he looks the business at left back. He looks like the kind of left back I would kill for us to have. Strong, great defender, good at attacking, puts in good crosses. Just can run all day. He's only 20 years old. They have Kyle Walker-Peters playing at right back right now. I think he's one we kind of missed out on when it comes to.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. I don't know. They got Wan-Bissaka as well. I wish we had their fullbacks, but.
Yeah, if you look at the team they put out against Palace, 2 lost. It's Bowen and Censio Somerville on the wings, package of playing behind Callum Wilson, Mateus Fernandez, and Ward-Prowse in the midfield. I really think the only weaknesses in that team are Max Kilman and Mavropanos at center back, and then what's the goalkeeper's name? Hermanson, who gets dropped for Areola because Hermanson has been god awful.
Yeah,
god awful.
I've
really bad.
To watch like just about every game this season. Like just going back and watching him, and he's like a ghost in goal. Everything just goes straight through it. It's kind of ridiculous. So it's no doubt, it's no wonder that he's getting dropped because he's just been a ghost. So it's kind of a bummer. I wish he had like played really well or something, so we could get him in goal. But I think this is going to be one of those games that can just go either way. It's a real hard tell. Neither we're not in the best of form. They're not in the best of form. So it's really hard to tell exactly where this game is going to go. I'd like to think that we can win the midfield battle. I'd like to think that Jack Grealish and Dyer and Beto and Dewsbury Hall are going to be able to run rings around their defense. But we just don't know. There's still so much up and down and inconsistency with this squad and this team right now. We just don't know what we're to expect. We're playing at home. I hope we start off quick and get that first goal and really make West Ham sweat. I think that's going to be really important for us to do and to make up for yesterday and get the supporters back on side and get them cheering. I'm going to be really interested to see if Beto can get a goal and just get shot on target even, honestly. It just seems like for all his instinctiveness, there are just times where it's just the sloppiness just shows up way too much. And I remember when we first signed him and he was first, finding his feet in the Premier League and he looked like a baby giraffe out there. I remember talking to one of my friends and I was like, the guy looks like he's never really trained in a professional academy before. He doesn't have any sort of polish or like consistent technique with what he does. It doesn't seem like he's developed like he when he had that purple patch when MOYES first came in, right? He kind of developed like a quote unquote signature finish, right? Which is just kind of like a little scoop. He draws a goalkeeper in and just kind of scoops it past him. And half the time the goalkeeper still gets a touch on it, but he scores anyways. He doesn't really have like this signature move that he knows he can rely on. Because I don't think he knows how to have that or if he knows what that could be for himself, and that's where that polish comes in, because most players have something that, like for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's his leap, it's his heading ability, for Grealish, it's the way he can suck defenders in and then go either way. For Ndiaye, it's how easy he can get himself out of tight spaces. Beto doesn't have that one thing that he does that's really elite. And he doesn't really have a lot of things he does that are really great in general. His hold-up play has gotten better. He's big and strong. I personally don't think he's particularly fast. I don't know with him.
Listen, I think real quick on Beto. I think that the way we're playing this season, kind of out on the wings a little more, not as much going through the center of the pitch. I think that is to his disadvantage, unfortunately. I think a lot of people see Beto. He's this real tall, lanky, giraffe on roller skates looking guy. And he kind of plays like it too. And yet I think his best quality is when you play him through the lines, let him get one-on-one. And, at that point it's 50-50 whether he scores or not most of the time. But I think that's where he excels, being able to make that run. And we're not really giving him a lot of opportunities to make that run. And he's, in my opinion, not taking it upon himself to make the runs either. And that doesn't help. But I think this game, right. I think this game on Monday, though, I think we have a really, really crucial advantage from set pieces and from corners, especially against this West Ham team, because one, they're not particularly big. Two, their center backs, I have said and will continue to say, I think are their weakest position. Their goalkeeper isn't great, whether it's Areola or Hermanson. I think that's a spot you can attack. And so I think this is a game where I wouldn't be surprised to see Beto score from a corner, Michael Keane, Tarkowski score from a corner. I think that they've struggled from set piece defending as well this season too. I'm not surprised if that happens at all.
Yeah, they conceded like 2 or 3 from set pieces against Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I also think that this is a game that our midfield absolutely just has to dominate. Because Mateus Fernandes is a very good player. Lucas Paquetá is a very good player. Ward-Prowse is a very good player. But what they don't do, in my opinion, particularly well outside of maybe Mateus Fernandes, is control the middle of the field. I think it's kind of like what you saw with us against Wolves. I think if you have players that can go through the lines, that can connect to the attack, I think that's where West Ham really struggle as well. And so I think there's a really big opportunity for us to, like you said, come out firing early, play some really silky stuff through the middle for Beto, play some stuff out wide, maybe get a goal or two from a set piece, and then I think we're cooking, for lack of a better word. Yeah,
we need to keep this season going. We need to get the good feeling back around the club quickly. We can't. We got an international break right after West Ham too. Just go to that next international break. But we can't go into that international break on the back of 3 losses or 2 losses or 2 losses, 2 draws. We need to get a win. We need to just keep it going. Just like get it back. Like get this thing back on track. There's going to be very few games this season where I don't think we'll have a chance of taking something from.
Right.
We have opportunities this season to do better and to build the foundations that we set over those first 5 games of the season. But it's going to take us not getting our heads down. It's going to take the fans staying on board with everything. I think that for all our talk about the fans, like, we know we are great. We have great supporters. We know that we back this team to the hilt and that we always want the best. Yes, we were a bit misguided at times with the way we allow the lows to get to us, 100%. And that's just because the expectation for Everton for many, many years was trophies and success and top 4 finishes, or at least top 6 finishes. And for the past decade, it has been staying in the league. And that mentality has been hard for people to swallow. And so now when we feel like we have something we can hold on to and grasp that's tangible and real, we want it so badly. And when we don't get it, we like lose sense of ourselves to an extent. Yeah. So. Yeah. And again, you can only take what's on Twitter as a microcosm of right. What actual Everton fans think.
I like to say that Twitter's not real, even though it feels quite real when you're on it all the time. Twitter's not real. Yeah, it's just not real. Not real. It can't hurt you.
Oh, man. Well, you want to give a score prediction?
Yeah, listen, kind of wrapping all the things I said together, I'm actually really confident about this one. Knock on this faux wood desk that I'm sitting at. I think we match up really well. I think we are in a spot where we're going to come out hungry for a win. I think David Moyes probably, has a little bit of urgency about him as well after the Wolves debacle. I mean, I'm gonna say 3-0. I think we dominate. I think we control.
Why are you reading my mind, man? I was gonna say 3-0. We can't have the same prediction 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. Well, then you know what? I'll say 2-0. I'll say 2-0. We don't get that third. Unfortunately, we miss a penalty or something. I don't know.
First goal scorer.
First goal scorer. Michael Keane is due a goal, man. The guy's had like 5 shots on target over the past 3 games. He's due a goal.
Would you believe me if I was going to say Michael Keane?
Yes. Yeah. The guy's due a goal. I mean, it's wild. I think it was in the Wolves. In the Wolves of the Derby, one of the commentator was talking about how Everton fans have talked about starting Michael Keane up top.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having a serious conversation. Like,
yes.
Is that something you could see? And I was just like, why are we even talking about this right now? I get it. He's like a great finisher. No, he's not a striker. He doesn't need to go up top. Like, he's fine at center back. He does just fine there. He gets his shots.
And yet, 2 of the last 3 games, some of the best chances we've had. Michael Keane's robbed
from his head. Yeah,
robbed at forehead point more than one time. This poor guy. Not on Monday.
Yeah, I do think we can. I would even go so far as to say we should beat West Ham. That should be an expectation, considering how they are this season, and considering that we are setting our aspirations higher. That would put us on 10 points through the first 6 games of the season, which is a really good return. If none of the other teams above us won, that would put us joint second. Just behind 9 goal difference,
right?
Depending on how much we win by. So. Anything's possible, It's we have a lot of season left. Mm-hmm. The disappointment of the cup loss was compounded by the fact that there was so much talk about winning a trophy this season, and it just felt like another missed opportunity. But we can only move on. We can only move on as fans. The players can only move on, and try to again. And David Moyes can only move on and try to make things better by sitting there saying, okay, we're going to set this right. We're going to get a win. We're going to rest for the international break. We're going to come back and we're going to get into the meat of this season, and we're going to build a cushion for us to try to make something special happen this year.
Right. Agree.
Lovely. All right. Well, we have no questions, no Q&A today. That's
Listen,
fine.
I've got a question for you. Actually, a little bonus round, really quick bonus round.
Go.
Deadline Day Live on Twitter reporting that perhaps Gabriel Jesus would like to get some minutes before the World Cup when he's back fit. Everton and West Ham are interested. Yes or no? Yeah. Tell me why.
Where is he even at right now?
Arsenal.
Is it Arsenal still? Is he still
Arsenal? He is. He wants some minutes. We don't even know where he's at.
I don't even know where he'd fit in. Would he be the striker? I don't think he really fits the David Moyes role as striker. He'd have to play in the wing. That means he's taking off Ndai.
Yeah.
He plays on the right when he plays in the wing, right? Because he's left-footed. I'm not quite sure on that actually.
I think he's right-footed.
Well, that makes it even worse. You can't remove Grealish from this position. That's a tough one.
I agree.
Maybe if we're look, if we're in the mix for Europe, then yes, I'd say bring him in on loan, see what happens. Mm-hmm. I'm not completely sold on him, and honestly, it would have to be a really good financial deal because we're already spending so much on Jack Grealish's wages. I feel like Gabriel Jesus is probably on something similar, or maybe a little bit of a level down, but still on really high wages. Who am I? Why am I talking about money? Yeah, bring him in. Why not, man? Let's bring in another dynamic.
All right, let's go.
Bring in a Brazilian. That'd be pretty cool. The last Brazilian that played for us was what? It was Richarlison, right? But
Richarlison.
Who was that before? Joe?
Was Bernard Brazilian?
Yes, he was. Yes, you're right. Bernard. Thank you. Bernard. So, why not? Bring in Gabriel Jesus. Have Jesus.
Get him in. Get him in. When Beto has 3 goals and the winter window opens, enter Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, the January window is so weird anyways. It's like nothing exciting really seems to happen in that window, or exciting things happen, but nothing seems to come from a lot of the players that get signed in January. There's, exceptions. Virgil van Dijk got signed in January. The guy's, whatever. Oh, I couldn't stand that moment he had with James Tarkowski in the Derby row. Like,
Ugh.
He was like sitting there like playing the big man, like dusting off his Premier League trophy thing. It's just like, dude, like act like you've been there before, man. Like, come on now.
Outside of the Liverpool fan base, has to be one of the most unlikable dudes in the Premier League. I'm sorry, I can't do it with that guy. Bobby Firmino levels of dislike for me personally. Mason Holgate throwing that guy over the board, one of my favorite moments of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just like I will compliment the guy's ability. He's a great center back. He reads the game so well. He was able to come back from that really bad injury,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been a really consistent captain for Liverpool. But he definitely makes himself really unlikable with the way he struts about the place. It is what it is. Look, the guy's he's a great
He is
player.
a good defender.
And I'm sure for him, these games against Everton mean double or even triply as much because he almost signed for us, And so I'm sure for him and his mind is thinking, thank God I never signed for them. I never would have signed for Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like saying that, but at the end of the day, I'm sure when he thinks about his career trajectory and whether it was really close with him signing for us or not, I'm sure he's like, I never would have been the player that I am or in the places that I am now if I had signed for them because I never would have played for Liverpool. I just never would have made that jump across. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why are we even talking about a Liverpool player right now? Jesus, what is wrong with us? Okay, well, that is all. That 50 minutes went by really quickly.
Sure did.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that just I can't. I thought that was like 5. We will be back next week, probably on Wednesday again. It seems like the most consistent day. And folks, let's make it right. Let's beat West Ham and move on.
Up the Toffees.
All right, up the Toffees.